welcome back to the PJ Show. This is episode 2 of a series where I research health-related topics, everything from exercise science, nutrition science, digestive health, hormonal health, nervous system health. I mean, all topics, health and wellness. And I learn that stuff myself. I get all the data, and then I relay that information to you guys in hopes that we can learn together how to take better care of ourselves as individuals and as a group. So that's why I do what I do. If you're enjoying this content, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing and sharing this content. It's really going to help this channel grow. And without any further ado, I'm going to jump right into it. So today's topic is, how do you boost immune system function naturally? So in order to answer this question, I'm going to answer a bunch of questions, and by the end of it, you'll have your answers. So bear with me here. The first question that I'm going to answer is, what is the immune system? And basically, it's not a system like the respiratory system or the cardiovascular system where there's a defined anatomy for it. Like the cardiovascular system has the heart and a bunch of blood vessels. The respiratory system has the mouth, the nose, lungs. And with the immune system, it spreads through your entire body. It's not really just one organ or 2 organs or 3 organs or whatever. It spreads literally throughout your body, and there's layers to immune system function. So I'm going to go through layer by layer, not in complete depth, because to be completely honest with you, I can't give any one of these systems any justice. I can't do it any justice by giving you one video on this topic. So this is just the start of a series here. I'm gonna definitely talk way more about the immune system in the future, but for now, I'm gonna talk about, there's 3 layers to the immune system. And the first layer is barrier immunity. So this is the barrier side of immunity. This is your skin and what's called epithelial tissues inside of your body. So basically what that is there is skin lining your organs the way you have skin lining the outside of your body over here. The role of this skin, internally and externally, is to make sure that things don't come in. And by things, I mean bacteria, toxins, bad chemicals, viruses, things of that nature. The barrier side of our immune system is meant to keep these things out so that nothing gets in and nothing can infect us. And the second layer of this is innate immunity. When things do cross the barrier level of immunity, then our second layer of defense is a bunch of specialized cells. These are natural killer cells, mast cells, dendritic cells. You have macrophages, you've got eosinophils, basophils. You have all these different types of cells that have their own unique functions that are meant to destroy the enemy. Literally, it's like going to war with bad bacteria, or going to war with viruses, going to war with an open wound, anything that comes in, like bacteria for example. The immune system mounts defense against these things and eradicates whatever it is that's causing the harm, in hopes that this harm won't spread to other systems in the body. Because if you can imagine, if your innate immune system doesn't work properly, then you're gonna get sick very easily, and that sickness is not going to go away. It's going to continue to spread because your immune system can't eliminate the threat. So that's another layer. That's the second layer of the immune system, the innate immunity. Now the third layer is adaptive immunity. Let's say you have a particularly aggressive virus that enters your system, and the innate immune system barely scratches through. It barely beats this damn thing, but it's very tough. What your body does is it creates antibodies to this. And it goes through a process of basically identifying the virus. Let's just use a virus as an example here. It identifies the virus, and then it makes antibodies that directly deal with that virus. So the second time you get infected by the same virus, your body can mount an immune response quickly, very rapidly. It knows who the enemy is, it knows what the identifiers are, and it can mount an immune system response directly to deal with that enemy specifically. That is level 3. There's 3 levels: barrier immunity, innate immunity, and adaptive immunity. Now, something else that we got to talk about here is the lymphatic system. Why? Because the lymphatic system works intricately and together with the immune system. They don't work separately, they work together. And the lymphatic system is basically a bunch of vessels, nodes, and organs, I'll explain what each of these are, that help cleanse the blood and mount an immune response to dirty blood. So what do I mean by that? There is these things called lymphatic vessels that line your circulatory system, so your blood vessels, and there's these things called capillary beds where your veins meet your arteries and do an exchange of liquid and oxygen. And around these capillary beds is other tubes, literally tubes, that are called lymphatic vessels. Now these tubes, lymph vessels, they take liquid from these veins and the arteries, the capillary beds, and it disinfects these, it cleanses these. Now the lymph vessels travel to these things called lymph nodes. Lymph nodes carry within them white blood cells, immune system cells that are able to mount an immune response immediately against whatever is identified as a threat. And there is a whole network of lymph nodes that spread through your entire body. There's major concentrations up here in your neck where your tonsils are. There's a major concentration in around your armpit area and around your pelvic areas. That's where a lot of lymph nodes are, and there's a lot of lymph nodes around your digestive tract. Because as you can imagine, I mean, when you eat something, your body has to make sure as it goes down that there's no threats there. So there's a lot of different organs associated with this. There's the spleen, there is the tonsils, there is the thymus, there's a bunch of different ones. There's pyres, patches inside of your small intestine, and in your large intestine, at the beginning of the large intestine, there's the appendix. Every single one of these houses immune system cells, white blood cells, that are able to attack and destroy any foreign bad bacteria, viruses, things of that nature. And the role of the lymphatic system is to mount an immune system response against dirty blood and to cleanse blood, to bring it back into the circulatory system nice and clean. So I had to bring that up because they work so closely together. But now I'm going to get to answering the question, how do you improve the function of these things? So right off the bat, hygiene. You gotta clean yourself, man, to make sure that these things don't enter your body. And this means cleaning your mouth properly, brushing your teeth twice a day, using floss, brushing your tongue, brushing the roof of your mouth, cleaning out your nose, cleaning out your ears, all of the orifices of your body, or rather openings of your body, making sure that they're clean so nothing bad is getting inside of you. And there's also the idea of cleaning your environment, making sure that you're not inhaling bad fumes like moldy fumes or any inhalable toxins, things of that nature, making sure that you're clean from a hygienic standpoint. That's number one. Number two is sleep. There's these things called catabolic processes and anabolic processes. Catabolic processes, and this has to do with metabolic function. So catabolic functions are breaking things down in your body. I'm oversimplifying here, but bear with me. Catabolic processes are breaking things down in your metabolic system, and anabolic systems build things up. So when you're awake and you're eating, you're thinking, you're doing work, let's say you're exercising, all of these things are breaking down processes. And when you go to sleep, you have building up processes. And if you don't have enough building up processes, which part of that is cleansing your body of toxins and rebuilding structures within the immune system, within the lymphatic system, that help mount immune system responses, if you're not sleeping properly and these systems are out of whack, well then all of your biological systems are going to go out of whack. And one of them is the immune system. So in order to enhance immunity, you need proper sleep. Now outside of that, there's stress. There is physical stress, there's psychological stress, and then there's emotional stress. You've got to make sure that you manage these things appropriately. Physical stress, if you're overworking yourself, again, not sleeping properly, and just constantly going, eventually something's going to break down. Your immune system is not going to be able to fight virus or bacteria or whatever, and you're going to get sick. That's eventually going to happen. There will be a breakdown some way, Someday it's gonna happen. So making sure that you manage physical stress, psychological stress, and emotional stress. If you hate your job, I'm not saying quit without having something lined up already, but at least have a plan to get out or have a plan to do something else. Find a way, because if you're killing yourself literally just for money, I mean, none of the people at your office are going to care if you die. I mean, they might, honestly, they might actually care if you die, but the business itself doesn't care at all if you get sick. They will replace you like that. It's no issue to the business overall. So why are you going to kill yourself for money, man? I mean, take care of your psychological health. If you need to take a couple of days to just be alone, go on vacation, man. Have a good time. You've got to treat yourself like you love yourself. And that means watching your psyche, watching your psychological health and emotional health. That's another one. If you have bad relationships with people that just bring you down, they're bringing a bunch of problems into your life, they're downers, they don't believe in you, they're berating you or belittling you, or they talk smack about you or whatever, should they really be in your life? And look, I know sometimes those people are family members. Now, if it's family members who are doing that, look, I'm just gonna be honest. You got to find a way to distance yourself, and that's a lot easier said than done. Of course, none of what I'm saying is easy. All of it is difficult, but that's one of the things that you're gonna need to do if you really want to properly boost your immunity, because psychological draining and emotional draining has a big effect on your physiology. It can really throw your processes out of whack. And so that's another one there. And a big one, nutrition. Watching what you eat, watching what you drink, watching what you take into your body through your mouth. Making sure that you're eating clean foods. And yes, there are such things as clean foods and dirty foods. In no freaking world is Coca-Cola good for you. Okay? In no situation is Coca-Cola good for you. Yeah, I get it. Type 1 diabetics, insulin response, all that. I get it. In certain situations, you need a spike of sugar to help with whatever condition you're dealing with. But outside of that, generally speaking, a can of Coke is not good for you. And generally speaking, strawberries are great. So making sure that you're eating a well-balanced diet, a bunch of whole foods, drinking a lot of water, making sure that you're hydrated. And I'm going to go in extreme depth when it comes to nutrition. But as of right now, you just got to know that you've got to make sure that you have a good, well-balanced diet, making sure that you're hitting your macros and your micros. You're not going overboard or underboard, rather, both, with your calorie consumption. If your weight gets, if you gain too much weight, that's going to throw your metabolic processes out of whack. When you lose too much weight, same thing, but opposite effects, right? So you want to maintain a healthy weight by having a good nutrition regimen that you consistently follow and that you enjoy. Because again, if you are way too strict with your nutrition and you're just, you're doing it wrong if you hate the nutrition regimen that you're on. You're doing it completely wrong. You got to find a way, because again, this is all taking care of yourself, right? You got to love yourself. Sometimes you're going to have the ice cream. That's perfectly fine. Sometimes you're going to have the pizza. I have pizza. It's all good. But generally speaking, 8 to 9 times out of 10, you got to eat some good food. All right? And even pizza can be good. Ice cream can be good, but in moderation here. So nutrition has to be on point for your immune system to function properly. Another one is exercise. You got to move. Human beings were not built to sit around all day, not move their joints through their full ranges of motion, not use your muscles. And another concept when it comes to, another strategy when it comes to exercise is the fact that lymphatic vessels move stuff around in them, lymph, through them a lot easier when there's muscle contraction involved. And this is another thing. This is also, when you have core contractions over here, all up in your core musculature, then you move things easily along your digestive tract as well. It's called peristalsis. So it's skeletal muscle dependent peristalsis. That's what it's called. But basically helping your lymph move through the vessels by muscle contraction. And there's a bunch of metabolic processes alongside that one that help you remove waste, that help you take in good things, you help yourself breathe better when you do cardio. Metabolic processes and physiological functioning of all of your systems improve with exercise of various kinds, lifting weights, doing cardio, swimming, running, all types of exercise is good for you. So get yourself active, get yourself moving. That's one of the keys of permanently boosting and naturally boosting your immune system function. Now, the last one that I'm going to touch on here is drugs, alcohol, and smoking. And that includes marijuana, by the way. So smoke in general is not good for you, regardless of whether it's from tobacco or whether it's from marijuana or other inhalants that you can take in. Smoke in general is not good for your lungs. It destroys your lung tissue. You're inhaling a bunch of toxins that your immune system needs to mount defenses against. And if you're always taking this stuff in, alcohol destroys your liver, amongst other places in your body, but let's start with the liver there. And smoking destroys your lungs, and again, other processes and other places in your body get destroyed as well. But it starts there. So you want to manage these things. I'm not saying completely stop, because that is difficult for a lot of people. And hey, if you're gonna go turn up, if you're gonna go party or whatever, yeah, man, have a drink or two, do your thing. You smoke a little weed. I don't know if it's legal from where you're watching it from, but I'm in Canada, so it is legal here. You could take a toke or two, it's all good. But make sure you're managing drug and alcohol consumption properly. And it's all about moderation here. So that is how you improve immune system function: hygiene, sleep, managing stress of various kinds, nutrition, exercise, managing your drug and alcohol intake. All of these things are practical strategies to boosting your immune system function. And what I'm going to end off with is none of this is easy. Straight up. The world that we're in right now, or rather in the West, I can say, because I'm speaking from experience here, in Canada, for example, there is a lot of incentive by a lot of different parties to make sure that you eat fast food. Fast food companies, for example, they want you eating a bunch of fast food. There's no money in health. Or rather, there's not a lot of money in health. There's a lot of money in sickness. That's for sure. There is a lot of money in sickness. So I'm not getting into conspiracy theories or anything like that here. I'm just saying from a logical standpoint, you're going to be very alone in this process. This is entirely dependent on you. Getting proper sleep, getting exercise, eating the right foods, managing your stress. It's going to be a lonely process. And it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to sit here claiming it's all easy and we're all in this together and stuff. No, that's not how it goes. It's a lonely process, but it's one where you will be healthy. You're not going to get sick very often. Even when you do, it's not going to last that long. You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to breathe a lot better. You're going to sleep a lot better. You're going to function a lot better if your immune system functions properly. And if you do all of these things that I laid out here, it's not just the immune system that's going to boost and function. It's literally every single physiological process that happens inside of your body that will boost if you do these things that I talked about here in this video today. So regardless of whether you're alone or with a group or whatever, you got to take care of you. You got to have your own back. You got to do this for you, man. You matter. Straight up. I know it sounds cheesy and cliche, but you do matter. And if not to anybody else, you should matter to you. And if you don't matter to you, and if you start doing these things, you will start to matter to you as well. I guarantee that. So please take what I said, try to apply it. It is going to be difficult. It is going to be tough. But I guarantee you, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're going to be so thankful that you started. And with that, have a good day.